It's that time again. It's time we do a little night drive. It's Wednesday night! I'm out of work, and I'm gonna fill your ear holes with some bullshit, like I do. I am, of course, Billy at the _swan_man, broadcasting live, but not when you hear it, but live from the inside of my car on the way home, on the long, winding road to freedom. To salvation! To my beloved wife, at Swan's Princess 88? Or just at Swan's Princess? Fuck it. One of those two. Of course, you can love the Army of Snarkness show. Shoot us some love at Army of Snarkness on Twitter. Shoot us an email at armyofsnarkness@gmail.com. Like the Facebook page. Random shoutouts, none of those. No one asked for any, but I didn't really ask to give out any. Well, maybe one. At Monkey Magic Eden to hear Tales from the Night Shift, considering it's kind of a similar thing the way he does. But, you know, I'm American, and he does it all polite and British-like, and doing his thing. Oh, fluffy. He's fluffing towels and wiping jism off of mirrors and shit. On the other side of the pond, and we much love it. So, old enough to know better, we sure as fuck aren't. Look up that podcast, it's on iTunes, and so are we! You can like this podcast, download this podcast, put us in your pocket, the show proper, which usually drops on Saturday or Sunday, depending on how I feel, and broadcast live. Again, the Army of Snarkness show proper on iTunes. You can look us up on Spreaker, and you can look us up on Stitcher. All of these are good things, and YouTube, for no good reason. It's weird. But, I mean, if you didn't have those outlets, you could watch the peaks and valleys of chaos happen all over your face. It's Wednesday night! Feeling alright? It's comic book day! I need cues, but I'm driving, that'd be weird. So, Wednesday is usually the day that new comic books come out. I just got into collecting single issues about late summer 2012. I started into the Before Watchmen series, because I'm a huge Watchmen fan. And I saw that comedian cover, big comedian guy, just peeking at me, and I just had to have it, at least for the cover. And then, you know, the rest, as we say, is history. Now I've collected, and we'll bring that up, but the Before Watchmen series brought me to the notion that maybe single issues aren't so bad, as long as I don't have to do, like, the crossovers and shit, like, buy Batman, then buy Robin, then buy Nightwing. Like, yeah, I'm still not into that. I don't want to go jumping around fucking hoops, because then I'm not going to get the... I'm all about the through line, baby. I've been buying a lot of number ones. I don't really want to fuck around with catching something in the middle of something. You know, I don't want to pick up and be completely lost on single issues when I could just buy the trade if the story's truly over. Like I'm going to have to do with The Shadow by Garth Ennis. I fucking love The Shadow. I love Garth Ennis. Dynamite's The Shadow looks like the shit. And he is, in Masks. Not written by Garth Ennis. Written by someone else. So what dropped today? What dropped today, more importantly, that I bought that I can tell y'all about? Y'all. Vous êtes? Is close. Or is it? I don't know. I French. Allez français. Look, I tell y'all about it. Yeah, that's probably what I sound like anyway. Well, we'll start with them first. Today, Judge Dredd number 3, published by IDW, written by some assholes. No, Szewski? It's Polish? I don't know. It's Judge Dredd in America. I believe it's always in America, but I'm saying it's a book that is more readily available in the States because 2000 AD, you have to jump through a few hoops, at least where I am, to procure a copy of 2000 AD proper, or I would be doing that. But Judge Dredd, it started, you know, around when the movie came out, with the number 1, with the increased interest in the character stateside, and it's been following, you know, the through lines that the 2000 AD books do, and it's formatted in a similar way. Number 3 picks up on some fun shit, and throws back, we're already throwing back to, you know, number 1 with a character, and it's got some fun, absurdist, dystopian, Mega City 1 antics, and it's divided, the theme seems to be that they divide Judge Dredd into 2 separate stories that go around the same central plot, but don't necessarily get there directly. Like, half the comic is Judge Dredd's story proper, and then the other half is something that relates to it, but you don't really know it on its face, or it is just a little arc that involves one of the plot devices from the Dredd story. Starry? 40 fathoms. So I say, this book is tight. I've read it from number 1 to number 3 as a Dredd fan, and as a, you know, American Dredd, I don't know. Good shit. It doesn't, it's a really solid book. I think it's a monthly? It feels like a monthly. I'm going to say it's a monthly. Drops monthly, IDW. Good shit all around. The art is fantastic. There's always multiple covers, It's IDW, ha. And the artwork's always good shit to look at. I mean, that's half the battle, right, with comics. And there's the story and the writing, and that's excellent. But the extra juju comes from the artwork, and the artwork's fantastic. You can feel the love just oozing out of the page with, the artistry for Dredd, who's like a 40 or 50-year-old character. 40-year-old character? Yeah, sure. 30 on the DVD. Well, I just watched the Blu-ray that I just bought because it's fantastic. Dredd, watch it. Carl Urban's the man. Olivia Thirlby, wow. And Lena Headey, kicking ass. But definitely, if you want to jump in on Dredd, it's the kind of book you can jump in, but it's only 3 issues in, and most stores I would assume, have it if they carry IDW in any way. So, take a look at it. I mean, I've been doing the reviews on the Army of Snarkness show proper, but it's Wednesday, it's more fresh. You can download this now and go to the shop Thursday or Friday, whenever the fuck you get to get off your ass and listen to this. You can buy it a little more readily than, as a sidebar from the Army of Snarkness show proper. So, haha, woohoo, Night Drive. Pew! Judge Dredd, IDW, fucking love it. Fucking love it. Good read. Not a must read, but good shit, solid. The second book I picked up, I don't buy them, I buy them when they come out, so, some days it's way too many, it makes me sad. Other days it's like 1. But today was 3, and I'm doing them in order of importance. Well, today, the second book I bought today was Punisher Nightmare, number 4 of 5. Written by Gimple, and artwork by Toshiro, who's fantastic with old school Punisher. He's been around for a while, and his art with Punisher is a nice throwback, especially with the character that he's doing, Jacob Neiman, who's the, not sidekick, turns into the villain in this story, who is also known as Johnny Nightmare. Now, he is from the Afghanistan conflict, and he is a mirrored reflection of Frank Castle, almost. Only he has super soldier serum in him, sort of. The whole story is a guy from Afghanistan has the same kind of tragic bullshit happen to him in the park with his family, and how does he recover? Frank goes to, find the guys that shot his family. Shit gets fucking weird, because this is still Marvel Universe proper. It's not just like Punisher Max or a more realistic. This is the Marvel Universe with Captain America and Daredevil and Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, issue 3 of 5 mentioned Civil War and had a few panels from the Marvel Civil War in it, which was really cool. I didn't read, not into the Civil War so much. But it was nice to see an alternate take. I remember those panels being brought up where he wipes out like Goldbug and some other asshole. He kills the motherfuckers in front of Cap, and he's like, no! Cap's like, how dare you? And he's like, fuck him. He's the Punisher. So he's fighting this mirror villain who has a version of a super soldier serum, and he's waging all hell ass on Earth. Everyone's his enemy. When the trade comes out, give it a look through, I would say, because, single issue is 5 issues, we're 4 issues in. I haven't spoiled too much yet, but there is some reference in this super-powered, universe, in the story, as he's talking about what made Neiman and Nightmare become just Johnny Nightmare, this super-powered, hulking, mohawked, modern soldier that's like a super-powered anti-Punisher. What makes him tick in accordance with what makes Frank Castle tick, and it does make reference to the fact that Frank Castle was in Vietnam, still, and the, similarities between their conflicts and backstories. But that's interesting considering there's a soldier serum going on in this canon here, in this little story, and that Frank hasn't aged a day since Vietnam, and that was a while ago. So, good shit. Next week, it's a weekly. Next week's going to be 5 of 5. I'm going to clear up the Nightmare. I'd give it a read if I was, for Punisher fans, absolutely. Marvel fans, it might be a good pickup. I mean, it's written by a guy that works on the Walking Dead TV show. It's got some nice modern twists. I mean, we brought up Afghanistan really well in it. And the dichotomy of Vietnam and current conflicts, or recent conflicts, I should say, in America and abroad, haha. But yeah, 4 of 5 in the Nightmare. We got some old school Punisher, got a nice new, like, lemony modern twist with Johnny Nightmare, and a villain for Punisher that doesn't throw off the scent, doesn't get too into the weeds. It's not like, not clones, the fake Punishers from Circle of Blood or Jigsaw all amped up on roids and shit. No, what was his name? Buzz, there's a Punisher villain in the video game that was sort of in canon. He had a gun for an arm. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, because he's that kind of, like, Warthog or, shit. It's a pig with fucking tusks. Lumberjack, no. But yeah, pick up. I'd read the trade, because if you haven't gotten it yet, I'd read the trade, because it would flow better. It has a very clicky style to the writing, because you're going back and forth from perspectives and things are happening. And while Weekly has made it pretty easy to read in that kind of succession, you still kind of forget shit. Probably better to read it in the moment. 5-issue series, I'd say the book's going to be the trade would be about $15, $20. I'd give it a flip through. I'd definitely, and if you're into old school Punisher shit, hell yeah. It's got some great, panels and full pages of Frank going ape shit the way he does, at least, when he became popular in the late 80s and early 90s. Gun in both hands, fucking RPGs. The last page of this has a great shot of art where his skull is actually made out of the weaponry on him, like the teeth are the RPG missiles or rockets, and the eyes are like little snub-nosed pistols on his chest. His pecs! His throbbing pecs. Yeah, pick it up. Good shit. Nerd sidebar, because why the fuck else would you listen? I can actually make a custom of Johnny Nightmare with the G.I. Joe, what's the, not Rise of Cobra, Assault of, the last recent movie, Toys, has a guy with a mohawk. Johnny Nightmare gets a mohawk. Arriba. Johnny Nightmare gets a mohawk because he gets shot in the fucking head in the second book. And it blows his skull out and it heals, and so it's left him with this wacky fucking 90s mohawk thing going on. Take a look, or don't. If you don't like anything I've described, then you're not going to like the book, really. I mean, that's why I focused on more of the weird shit in that one, but didn't throw me off. But I'm a diehard Punisher fan, so, it's on my belt buckle. Blow. The third and final book, The Girl That Brought Me to the Dance. The girl that brought me to the whole, collecting single issues thing. The book that did it, or the series, I should say. Before Minutemen, number 6 of 6, by Darwin motherfucking Cook. We love you, Darwin Cook. He's wrapping up the Minutemen series. That will make Silk Spectre wrapped up, and Night Owl wrapped up. And now Minutemen. So, I don't even wrap up Dr. Manhattan? No, maybe. He might have wrapped up Dr. Manhattan. I don't think so, though. And Moloch. Moloch's been wrapped up. He didn't wrap... Yeah. So, we're closing in on the end of Before Watchmen. And I'm very glad to see that Comedian looks to be the last book to come out. So, big nerd boner. Had a big nerd boner for Eddie in in the end of Before Minutemen, where we find out all about Hooded Justice. I mean, that's kind of been a through line, but it was twisty and turny in the Minutemen saga. Definitely going to have to pick up the trades. Pick up the trades if you don't want to do the single issue thing. Pick up the Before Watchmen trades. You will not be sorry. Definitely got to read Silk Spectre 2 and Minutemen. If at all. I mean, that's a must. And probably Dr. Manhattan, because it's fucking great. Dr. Manhattan is, you gotta have Dr. Manhattan. Those books, I mean, Comedian's a little in the weeds. It's Brian Azzarello stuff. So if you you should pick them all up, you rotten cocksuckers. But I'm just saying, objectively, those are the most Watchmen. They add the most variety without tarnishing, quotation marks, the Watchmen spirit. I mean, none of them do that, but these are the most original and different books in the series. The artworks, vary from story to story, and it's fantastic. So he wraps up Before Minutemen. We finally get to find out what happened to Hooded Justice, which has been a thing in Watchmen. And I had my theories, and wouldn't you know, my theory back when I read Watchmen the first time turns out to be kind of true. Fuck yeah. It's like vindicated. It's just, it's playing the song. It's pouring, if music is the song of love, then play on, or some shit like that. Shakespeare de Biard! It's Alan Moore is close. And, this is just telling me all the right things. This book has just been rubbing my tummy every time. It's had some scheduling conflicts, which has been a pain in my ass, because the back of the book